From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, ahead of 2023 elections, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group sets economic policy agenda for growth and prosperity. Tight security in Jos ahead of APC presidential campaign flag-off on Tuesday. Defense headquarters places bounty on terrorist leaders, publishes their names and pictures. And on the international scene, Ghana president sacks junior finance minister over corruption allegations. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour tonight. I am Eugenia Abu. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has drawn the nation's attention to the need to set an economic policy agenda for accelerated and sustainable economic development for the country. The NESG stated this at the first of its two-day summit themed 2023 and Beyond, Priorities for Shared Prosperity. Chamun Dabeng now reports.
An economic policy agenda stakeholders say is imperative as the country moves into a leadership transition year. National and global leaders are deliberating on Nigeria's major economic challenges following the COVID-19 pandemic that rocked economies worldwide and plunged Nigeria's struggling economy further down. The country's economic downturn was further exacerbated by external factors like the Russia-Ukraine war and internal factors like excessive oil theft, flooding, insecurity, as well as lack of political will to strictly implement economy-changing policies. Discussions at the 28th NESG Summit, which is a partnership between the private and public sector players, brought to the forefront some of Nigeria's major challenges that have stood in the way of sustainable economic growth with the hope of finding a solution.
Successful national turnaround starts first with addressing basic internal problems and fixing them, and then setting the country's sights on externally driven growth possibilities. We must start by achieving macroeconomic stability, as this is the foundation of economic growth.
One of the arguments against Nigeria's macroeconomic instability is the country's heavy dependence on oil, reducing the prospects of economic diversification. The lack of diversification has shown itself in the volatile nature of the national currency, consistent hike in inflationary pressures, poor inclusion and distribution of wealth, as well as poor external reserves. This leaves many wondering where the nation's economic priorities are and how it is addressing them.
So although challenged by a shortfall in revenues, government kept its pact by prioritizing capital funding in favor of critical ongoing infrastructure projects in power, rails, roads, agriculture, health, and education sectors. This is with a view to strengthening the Nigerian economy post-COVID-19. Resources are also being mobilized with less emphasis on oil revenues.
We must build on the achievements of our fintech companies and our innovators, especially in the areas of agriculture, health, education, logistics, and even manufacturing, housing also, and some of what we're seeing in the development of smart power grids. The last but one priority issue I'd like to mention is improving our social safety programs. This government introduced the most comprehensive and resourced social investment program in perhaps the history of our country. Something this program has helped to do is a bottom-up approach to economic thinking and even budgeting.
As the nation transitions from one administration to another in a couple of months, stakeholders are hopeful that economic priorities would be properly aligned to enable the country make appreciable progress in that direction. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The United States Consul General in Nigeria, Will Stevens, on Monday said the United States is committed to ensuring credible elections in Nigeria in 2023. He charged Nigerians to participate in the election process by ensuring that they vote for candidates of their choice. Hamid Oyegbadi filed in the report as presented in our studio.
At a training for journalists in the Southwest on election reporting, Stevens said the U.S. government allocated over $50 million for technical assistance and support to Independent National Electoral Commission and the civil societies in the country. Stevens charged the media to ensure thorough and objective reporting of the 2023 elections.
We really want to see a credible, transparent, peaceful election that above all represents the will of the Nigerian people. And our programs and our funding are about process and encouraging people to vote. Because when people participate in a democracy, they feel like they have a stake in that democracy. When they vote, when they read your reporting, they feel like they're part of the project of Nigeria, just like the project of the United States.
Media experts Professor Lai Osho of Lagos State University and Professor Christian Ulasi of School of Communication, Texas, Southern University said democracy cannot survive without the media. Osho and Ulasi appeal to journalists to be neutral and always ensure that their stories are fair and balanced.
Media should provide us space for different voices to express themselves on, national issues, so that all of us can be better citizens.
The goal is to make sure that there's a broad representation of what is going on and how that reaches the broader electorate, people who are going to cast their vote eventually.
The West Africa Broadcast and Media Academy Election Reporting Project Team Lead Ken Ike Okere charged journalists to guard against fake news by fact-checking their stories and sources.
We want to show those who will train how they can fact-check stories, how they can be sure of their sources, how to do investigations, how to be able to balance their stories, and also how to be safe.
Some of the participants said the training has further deepened the knowledge and equipped them for better performance.
We have a series of political misinformation and disinformation going around. So I believe that with this training, I will be equipped on how to fact check my source of news before pushing it out, and also on how to stay safe.
So the training received from this training will promote professionalism among the media practitioners in the country towards 2023 election.
Stakeholders here are unanimous in their belief that free and fair elections would strengthen democracy and aid good governance.
In the meantime, security within Jos, the capital of Plateau State, was on Monday beefed up ahead of the All Progressive Congress APC presidential campaign flag-off in the state. Apart from security personnel stationed in different locations, fighter jets were also seen on aerial surveillance of the city. Ado Musa completes that report.
The State Governor Simon Lalong, who doubles as the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, while inspecting the Ruampan Township Stadium, venue for the campaign flag-off, told newsmen that all was set for a hitch-free event. The Director General commended the local organizing committee led by Deputy Speaker House of Representatives Idris Wasi and the State Deputy Governor Sonny Theoden for laying the foundation for a campaign that will usher in a new Nigeria.
Candidates also are very, very comfortable with coming to Jos. Now the remaining aspect is to organize and prepare for a very good reception. So you can see behind every successful man are good, successful people. That's why I gave the mantle to the Deputy Speaker House of Representatives and my Deputy Governor, and we created a local organizing committee, which includes all of you journalists that are here to give them the input. And today, in the last 3 days I've been here. Today I have seen it, and I've seen a very remarkable improvement.
Chairman of the local organizing committee and Deputy Speaker House of Representatives, Idris Wasi, also told journalists during the inspection that the local organizing committee has been working with relevant committees of the Presidential Campaign Council to ensure that all planned activities are executed with excellence.
Writing an examination and you have a teacher that will give you the marking and he gives you an A or AA, you are good to go. Or you have a father who is also overseeing your activity and is happy with you, I think you are good to go. By the expression of His Excellency, the Governor of Plateau State and the Chairman DG campaign of Aswaju, Tinubu, and Shetima, his happiness expression to the preparedness and the readiness of our own committee in terms of what we are putting in, that has given us a sufficient comfort, and believing that yes, everything is okay. And so we are very much ready and we are very much on ground.
The chairman of the PCC, President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Senator Kasim Shettima, governors, APC national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, among other party leaders and members of the party, are expected to grace the occasion. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And still talking politics, the Katsina State Social Democratic Party SDP gubernatorial candidate Zachary Talba has pledged to improve on security if elected come 2023 general elections. The gubernatorial candidate made the promise when he unveiled his 7-point agenda at his campaign office in the state capital. Jamilu Mabai has details.
Declare our campaign council office open.
While unveiling his agenda, the SDP gubernatorial candidate Ibrahim Zakari Ibrahim expressed concern over how insecurity, if not checked, can hamper any meaningful development.
I mean, security, everybody knows security is very vast. And I would like to talk on just 1 or 2 steps that we intend taking to at least change the security situation of our dear state. And secondly, we intend to engage the community. Communities meaning we have to go back to the old age, whereby you start from the grassroots, from, as they say, Ngua to Haikimi to Sarki before coming to the state level, because they are the ones that know people that reside in them.
If elected, he will use modern technology in tackling insecurity in the state.
Using cutting-edge tools. Gone are the days where you buy weapons, this and that and that. I mean, you can stay here or in America, you can shoot down somebody in Lagos. He doesn't need to see you. And you can monitor him with this CCTV and satellites and the rest of it. All other countries all over the world are using this, but yet we're still using the old ways of scaring lives.
He equally lamented on how bottlenecks stifled some of the investment he brought to Katsina while serving as honorary special advisor on investment and foreign relations to Governor Masari.
My team and I brought Velisco from Holland. The CEO was in Nigeria. He was in Katsina. He met our governor. And of course, he wanted to set up the Velisco factory in Malumfashi, this Holland fabric that our ladies wear. But unfortunately, it didn't see the light of the day. Probably from the federal government and the state government, I'm not too sure, but I believe it's the federal government that put a bottleneck along the line. And a major one is the refinery issue, which everybody is aware of. We single-handedly went to Niger Republic with our friends, spoke to the Nigerian government. They gave us their approval in giving us the feedstock. The feedstock is a crude oil. And of course, again, another bottleneck from the federal government just to give us the right of way. That's why it has not seen the light of the day.
Later that evening, he led a delegation, including his running mate, to the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency for integrity drug screening test. Jamilu Mubay, Trust Television, Katsina.
The Federal High Court, sitting in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, has nullified the All Progressives Congress governorship primary conducted on May the 26th, 2022, and ordered that fresh governorship primaries be conducted within 14 days. Delivering judgment on Monday, the presiding judge, Justice Agatha Okeke, also disqualified the governorship candidate of the party, Akanimo Udofia, from participating in the primary, saying that he was not a member of the APC in the state. The court also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission not to recognize Akanimo Udofia nor accept him as candidate according to Section 77, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act. The court orders fresh primaries within 14 days. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Rivers State has sued the governorship and deputy governorship candidates of the Accord Party for non-compliance with the new Electoral Act. The PDP also filed a suit against all National Assembly candidates of the Accord Party over some irregularities in the build-up to the primaries of the Accord Party. Here's that report.
When the matter was mentioned in court, the parties involved noted that the court processes were fully served on them, just as the counsel for the PDP was absent in court. Counsel for the Accord governorship and National Assembly candidates Abiodun Owonikoko, SAN, briefed journalists outside the courtroom.
The initial one that has been bringing us here had to do with PDP's case against Accord candidates for senatorial and House of Reps. Now, subsequent to that, sometime last month, they filed action against the governorship candidate of Accord, Chief Dumolulu Briggs. Now, we all agree that all the matters, both matters will be heard today. We came ready for hearing of the two matters, both the governorship challenge and the one challenging the National Assembly candidates of Accord. But as you can see, some of the processes were not yet fully exchanged. That compelled all of us to agree for an adjournment, and the court has graciously agreed to take us on Friday this week for the two cases, in the belief that in between all processes will have been exchanged and the matter will be ripe for hearing.
Meanwhile, the governorship candidate of the Accord in River State, Dumolulu Briggs, has flayed what he described as harassment of candidates by the PDP in the state via lawsuits.
Processes have not been served on us. Unfortunately, INEC even complained that they've not been served on these processes. So the matter can go on. So you can see that this is just a very deliberate attempt by the People's Democratic Party, to harass everybody else, waste our time, drag us here to court. They're not even in court. They didn't even bother to come to court today. So a government that should put money in the pockets of their indigents is a government that is deliberately ensuring that their people are impoverished. Taking money out of our pockets to pay to lawyers on very frivolous issues. So this PDP government, has clearly missed it all. It's very unfortunate.
The presiding judge, Justice Stephen Dalopam, however, adjourned the matter to November 18th for hearing.
The former Senate President Bukola Saraki says the People's Democratic Party, PDP, will resolve the crisis between its presidential candidate and the governor of Rivers State very soon. In an interview with journalists in Ilorin, the former Kwara State governor said the party is interested in the plight of ordinary Nigerians and as such would not allow the differences between the two leaders disrupt its plans for a better Nigeria.
We will surprise Nigerians because at the end of the day, we all think about what is good for this country. If you look at the poverty that is in the street, we look at how governance has not gone well, we all put Nigerians first because Nigerians want PDP back. And these issues, the little differences, will resolve them. But that does not change at the end of the day, whether it is Wike or anybody, we want a better Nigeria. And a better Nigeria is through PDP. So we're going to work together.
Former Senate President Bukola Saraki. Kano State Police Command is to empower its tactical and other special operation units to ensure the successful conduct of the forthcoming 2023 elections. Addressing divisional and other senior police officers of the command, the newly posted Police Commissioner Maman Dauda assured that the command will ensure peace before, during, and after the elections.
I will engage the command's departmental heads, area commanders, divisional police officers, or tactical commanders, other officers and men, to continue to work in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Police Act, rule of law, respect for human rights in line with international best practices, to ensure that police in Kano Command perform optimally in its duty, professionally, to the best of its ability, to ensure effective and efficient provision of delivery to the citizens of Kano State.
Newly posted Kano State Commissioner of Police, Maman Dauda. Former Chairman, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FERMA, Dr. Olajide Adeniyi, has called on politicians not to overheat the polity ahead of the 2023 elections to allow for a peaceful transition. Appearing on Trust TV program Daybreak Show, Adeniyi further stressed the need for all stakeholders to work towards changing the fortunes of Nigerians.
Very cohesive family. There is no family, there are no quarrels. What matters is how you solve the quarrels. And whatever you think is happening in PDP is under control now. Well, that is what you believe. When you are constructing a building, people will not know the effort that you have put in the foundation. But when they see the building, everybody will just be clapping. They don't know the soil structure, they don't know what you are putting, the kind of reinforcement, the kind of concrete that you are putting in. Until the building begins to rise, then you will know that something is coming up. PDP is doing work. We want to salvage Nigeria. There is no pride that is too much for us to drop to make sure that Nigeria makes it.
Dr. Olajide Adeniji. Nigerians are divided over the implementation of the Stephen Orosanye's report on the need to merge and reduce ministries, departments, and agencies as a way of reducing the cost of governance in the country. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that while some want the Buhari government to summon the will and implement the recommendations before end of its tenure, others say doing so is counterproductive and will compound the unemployment crisis in the country.
Recommendations of the Steve Oronsanye's Committee on the Trimming of Ministries, Departments and Agencies MDAs continue to gather dust, while the federal government grapples with the challenge of meeting its financial obligations due to mounting debts and increase in revenue leakages.
We're talking about cutting them down, merging somewhere they need. But you go back to the National Assembly every day, they are passing laws establishing new agencies. And the same president is assenting to these laws.
We should start from the top. If you start from the top and reduce governance, then before it will come down to the parastatals and the agencies, then you must have solved your problems.
Could that be done without tampering with the actual quality of service to the Nigerians? That is the most important thing. The essence of creating all these ministries is to deliver services.
Subsequent white paper on the report produced by a committee headed by the former Attorney General of the Federation, Bella Adoke, is suffering the same fate, while the nation contends with high cost of governance, denying the citizens even the basic requirements of life.
We have the resources now within our range. Why can't we process those things? When we do that, all those expenditures on the subsidy, that money is a big money already that the government can use to settle some of the problems in our country.
Actually, if you are talking of cost, that's not the only way. That's not, in fact, the best way to reduce costs in Nigeria. Look at the politicians.
If there is the will to put Nigeria first, I think there's a way. There's a way. There is something that people saw that he could do, that Jonathan did not seem to have the power to do.
Despite repeated resolve to implement the recommendations of the Oronsanye Committee, respondents say inability of the Buhari administration to defy the forces wanting to maintain status quo may undermine the desire to meet the objective. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to security matters. The Defense Headquarters has released the names and pictures of 19 terrorist commanders who have been wreaking havoc in the northeast, northwest, and north-central zones of the country. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Jimmy Akpo, who revealed this on Monday, added that it would give 5 million naira to any Nigerian who has information leading to the arrest of the terrorists. He urged those with useful information to contact the Army on 091-3590-4467. General Akpo said the development became necessary to sustain the tempo in the ongoing clearance of adversaries, as well as to completely restore peace to the country. The names of the terrorists and their origins can be found on the website of the Nigerian Army. The Zamfara State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Muhammad Bello Muazu, has reiterated the readiness of the Corps to strengthen the existing synergy with the Nigeria Correctional Service in the state to ensure better security in the state. Muazu stated this when he paid a courtesy visit to the management of the Nigeria Correctional Service in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. A statement by the command's public relations officer, Iko Oche, said the assistance in the protection of correctional centers in the state is sacrosanct and of paramount interest to the Corps. He urged the Commandant General, Audi Ahmed Abubakar, to ensure that personnel of the Corps are deployed to the correctional facilities in order to ensure the safety of the inmates and facilities. Responding, the Zamfara State Controller of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Omar Galadima, thanks the Corps for the synergy and reiterated his resolve to work closely with the Corps in order to achieve set objectives. Borno State Governor Professor Zulum has reopened Gamburu Ngala Cattle International Market during a two-day visit to the local government. The governor commended President Buhari for his support to the state, especially during the time of insurgency, which had ravaged basic infrastructure in the state. The reopening of the market comes 6 years after closure due to insecurity in the region around that time. Governor Zulum lamented that apart from the floods, elephants have destroyed farmlands in 2 local government areas, which necessitated the distribution of relief materials to the affected people.
We still have some challenges here in Gamburu Ngala because this year the communities have experienced flooding. That's one of the reasons why we came. And the second reason why we came here is that still some couldn't have access to their farmlands. And that has necessitated the intention of the government of Borno State to come and continue with the distribution of food and non-food items. And I think Ngala local government is one of the communities that we shall continue to provide such support until after the next rainy season.
Yes, by complying with all instructions. Please, we do not want any act of disobedience to guidelines that will be given following this commissioning. And anyone found wanting shall be dealt with in accordance with law, just as the governor has said. Please, we are begging every one of us, let us comply and cooperate with all security agents.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, laboring in a quarry site for a living. Stay with us.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mu ya ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Ladi Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets ko kuma ku wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshin ku kuwa za ku iya saka manyan kujeru na kece raini domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunan mu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture, mun zagaye ko ina.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Ahead of 2023 elections, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group sets economic policy agenda for growth and prosperity. Tight security in Jos ahead of APC presidential campaign flag off on Tuesday. Moving to other news stories now. The need to enhance the role of the judiciary in nation building has again come to the fore. At the opening ceremony of this year's All Nigerian Judges Conference for Lower Courts, organized by the National Judicial Institute in Abuja, stakeholders acknowledged the impact of adjudication in the country and the need to ensure that the nation benefits maximally from it. Matia Umar has more.
It is the 2022 edition of the Conference for All Nigerian Judges in the Lower Court. Participants at this workshop are deliberating on ways of enhancing the role of the judiciary in nation building and how such role will strengthen judicial reforms in a democratic dispensation for nation building. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, represented by Justice John Okon, who declared the conference open, stressed that democracy and nation building is enhanced when there is respect for the rule of law.
It is a well-known fact that judges' decisions impact the society, while sociocultural changes and perceptions do influence judicial decisions. As such, the complex nature of our society makes it imminent that judicial rules catch up with societal changes to make the law more relevant to our democratic dispensation. After all, no nation can rightly be said to run a democracy without the existence of a vibrant and functional judicial system.
Chairman House Committee on Judiciary said the National Assembly is ready to partner the Judicial Institute and the Nigerian judges for better dispensation of justice in Nigeria.
Let me seize this opportunity to commend your worships and honors for sustaining this role of the judiciary, even in the face of daunting challenges confronting your performance of judicial functions. A point has to be made that the starting point of enhancing the role of the judiciary in nation building is by improving the living and working conditions of judges, especially judges of the lower court.
The Nigerian Bar Association, through its president, Yakubu Mikiao, said the NBA is strongly behind nation-building efforts as they work with the judges to ensure a more enhanced justice system.
As the president of the Nigerian Bar is to continue to remind us of that critical role that we must play in the country. I would always say, and I don't mind repeating it, as those that are privileged to call into the profession of law, we stand in a position of privilege that also comes with responsibility. And the responsibility is to chart the course for this nation. The delivery that we require in this country, the reformation that we need in this country, the reposition and the recovery that we need in this country can only be provided by members of the legal profession.
The theme for the conference is enhancing the role of judiciary in nation building. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In another development, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State has invited members of opposition political parties to inaugurate projects in the state. Members of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and Labour Party, LP, were invited to the fourth quarter 2022 project commissioning in Rivers. The week-long program commenced on Monday, November the 14th, and would end on Friday, November 18th, 2022. Wike, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, invited President Muhammadu Buhari and former Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole, both of the APC. Also, Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi and Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, made the list. Following the crisis that rocked the PDP, Wike has been parleying with opposition politicians, leaving many wondering whether he's about to switch allegiance. The Federal High Court Abuja has adjourned indefinitely the trial of the leader of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, in the terrorism charges brought against him by the federal government. Justice Binta Nyako put off the trial at the instance of Kanu pending the resolution of the federal government's appeal against the October 13 judgment of the Court of Appeal that discharged him of the terrorism charges. The federal government's appeal seeking the reversal of the Court of Appeal judgment is pending before the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, Kanu refused to appear before the Federal High Court on Monday. The refusal to honor the High Court was conveyed to Justice Nyako by the federal government's counsel, Mohammed Abubakar. He informed the court that all entreaties made to persuade Kanu to have a change of heart were rebuffed. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has concluded plans to embark on a one-day nationwide protest over the payment of half salaries to lecturers by the federal government in October. ASU National President Emmanuel Osodeke confirmed the development on Monday. According to him, the planned protest was organized at the branch levels of ASU nationwide, adding that each branch of the academic union would choose its dates. Last week, ASU slammed the federal government over the payment of half salaries to lecturers in October. The union condemned the pro rata payment to its members and accused the government of an attempt to reduce Nigerian scholars to casual workers. Media practitioners in Nigeria have commenced moves to review the code of conduct for journalists with a view to deepen professionalism in the industry. The stakeholders, comprising newspaper publishers, online publishers, broadcasters, among others, converged on Lagos on Monday at a roundtable tagged Deepening Media Professionalism Through Co-Regulation, organized by the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN, in conjunction with the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, Guild of Corporate Online Publishers, and the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA. Media practitioners deliberated on the 2022 Draft Code of Ethics for Nigerian Journalists and another report titled Co-Regulation, a Pathway to an Effective Media Ombudsman. NPA President Kabir Yusuf called for more professionalism among media practitioners to improve the lot of the society.
We have a lot of power in our hands. We have the power to actually destroy reputations. And sometimes we do, unfortunately. Then the other power, which is the opposite, is to uplift dubious characters, to make reputation that shouldn't have been made. So whenever I hear the press saying action governor of somewhere, I always think that the action is happening in their pockets. A lot of the time not in the streets of that city. And this is the kind of thing we want to correct. We ourselves, to hold ourselves responsible so that society can say, yes, we are doing our job. I'm not saying the media historically has played a very important role in democracy and continues to play it. But I think if we professionalize, if we have this mechanism in place, we can even do better to hold power to account.
I'm happy that the major newspapers have gone online and breaking news is coming out every second. That's the only way to fight the online news. All of us must be online. Anybody who is not internet literate, IT guru, cannot be a reporter anymore. You must be IT literate. As I'm here with you, this telephone contains everything. And if there's anything I don't understand, I mean, when I got myself mixed up with Google, and it brought us that, shows up Polaris Bank, showed us all the important landmarks that we are going to go through. So anybody going to be a reporter, anybody going to be a journalist must be internet literate. Should be able to use his phone and take photographs, send immediately, send his story. Does not even need to come to the office.
In another development, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has sanctioned Arise TV for airing what it says is a fake report about the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu. The television station was fined 2 million naira for breaching the broadcasting code. Recall that Arise TV apologized on Sunday after reporting that the Independent National Electoral Commission was investigating Tinubu over alleged criminal forfeiture of money on offenses bordering on narcotics and illicit drugs. INEC at the weekend denied the statement on which Arise TV based its report. The development forced the station to retract the statement and apologize to Tinubu. The demand for eyeglasses has been on the rise in recent years as users identify improved vision, fashion, protection from sunlight, and overexposure to computer screens, among others, as reasons for using them. While some users use prescribed glasses, others rarely seek medical advice before getting one. In this report, we take a look at the side effects associated with the use of unprescribed glasses and what can be done to reverse the trend. Here's that report.
Eyeglasses are a viable option for helping to improve vision. Its uses have grown from optical to cosmetic purposes, with people choosing to acquire them according to their various significance, categories of frames, shapes, sizes, and colors.
Because of the sun, whenever I walk in the sun, it won't reflect my eyes. And secondly, there are some places that you like to go, like put on the eyeglass, it's going to be a fashion, to the dressing code and all this, that. And there's a place that, okay, I don't want much people to recognize me. Okay, let me just put on this glass.
Partly for medical reasons, I wear eyeglasses. Well, fortunately, I don't use glasses to read, but when I'm driving, there's need for me to put it on.
Like I use it as sunshade, because I can't look directly to the sun. So if it's sunny, I need my glasses. Though it's not recommended, it's just a sunshade.
I'm wearing my own for a passion. It's not for eye problem. Although I have some friends who wear it for eye problem, and it's on prescription.
To prevent the dusty winds from coming into the eyes. Another one, I'm fond of using computers and handsets. It will minimize the effect of radiation on the eyes.
Although these categories of glasses are used by many, experts say the use of prescription glasses without diagnosis and recommendation may pose a serious threat to the eyes.
Does it necessarily irreversibly damage the eyes? Not necessarily, but it's never really comfortable to use a glasses prescription. Without recommendation. When I speak of prescription, of course, I'm not really speaking of what people may call the strength, which we measure in an eye clinic and we recommend for the patient after the eye tests. So long as they don't have a prescription, if they are plain, and most of the fashion glasses are shaded, that is, they take a tint, dark, different colors. You have dark brown, dark blue. It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. If it has a prescription, however, as some of them do, a few of them do anyway, then it's not recommended.
With eyewear trends evolving on a daily basis, experts advise that if one must pick up any eyeglasses, an eye evaluation or vision examination must first be conducted to determine the type of glasses that are ideal for visual conditions and are of benefit to the eyes. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Different strokes for different folks, but it's always better to check. Persistent rise in cost of living is taking its toll on people doing menial jobs. Quarry workers in Kaduna say their daily income has gone down due largely to the increase in price of commodities, making it difficult to cater for their families and pay school fees. Bello Musa reports.
The persistent rise in the price of goods and services occasioned by inflation is taking a huge toll on the people, especially low-income earners. In this countryside, people working here use extra energy to crush the stone and earn a living. But the present economic situation takes away the hard work, leaving them with little to feed their families. Awal Muhammad and Bella Salisu are quarry workers. They have been in the business for 20 years and they have family, but presently the job hardly takes care of their needs. Cost of living is affecting us. The job took care of our family needs, but now we hardly feed our family. We are just managing and we find it difficult to sustain our life these days. Rising inflation in the economy has been persistent, and this affects the purchasing power of the people doing menial jobs. They earn between 2,000 and 4,000 naira in a day, but with the present rising cost of living, the income cannot take care of their basic needs. The money we get now cannot take care of our basic needs because the cost of goods is higher compared to what we earn daily. What we get in a day hardly sustains us for a day due to cost of foodstuff. For them to crush stone, they need firewood, which Kaduna State government has banned its usage due to insecurity, saying stone crushing business is now run almost at loss due to cost of firewood. Ban on firewood affect our business because we use firewood to crush the stone. We call on the government to come to our aid. To address the current rising cost of living, experts believe that government has to increase production, reduce over-reliance on import, increase export, and improve infrastructure in the country, among others. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back after the break. To stay.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Ahead of the planned redesign of the Naira, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has pledged to protect Nigerians in unbanked, underserved, and those in the rural areas. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, who announced this during a special press briefing, said the new design and issues will be effective December 15th, 2022. He had explained that the Apex Bank secured the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari to roll out new notes to replace the existing currency in circulation. About 3 weeks after the announcement, the Apex Bank issued a statement saying it had been collaborating with relevant agencies and other stakeholders in the financial system to ensure that vulnerable citizens were not disenfranchised. In a statement, CBN's Director of Corporate Communications, Osita Nwanisobi, said some progress had been made as there had been increased currency deposits across banks and other financial institutions. And for more business, let's join Chamun Dabeng for business news.
The largest airline in Nigeria, Air Peace, is suspending its flights into Dubai until further notice as from Tuesday, November 22nd this year. The airline's decision is in response to the continued refusal of the government of the United Arab Emirates to provide visas to Nigerian travelers and the resulting hardships. It should be recalled that the UAE immigration stopped issuing visas to Nigerians last month. This is also because all applications that were submitted were turned down and money was not reimbursed. The Dubai immigration is currently not processing visas for Nigerians, according to a statement from the UAE government and destination management companies authorized to issue electronic visas to the UAE. Despite recent travel restrictions, Air Peace has continued to fly into the UAE. However, given the increasing difficulties Nigerian travelers are having entering the country, the airline has announced that it must stop flying there immediately. Consumption spending in Nigeria increased to 57.08 trillion naira in the first half of 2022 due to rising inflation. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigerian Gross Domestic Product Expenditure and Income Approach report, this is a 14.39% increase over the 49.89 trillion naira that was spent during the same time of 2021. Household final consumption expenditure was defined by the NBS as imputed expenditure that resident households incurred on their own personal consumption of goods and services. A residual is calculated for this. The agency also revealed that in real terms, household final consumption increased by 6.94% and 17.64% in the first and second quarters of 2022, respectively. According to the report, the growth rates were lower than those of the equivalent quarters of 2021, which had growth rates of 47.16% and 42.4%. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Thank you, Chameng. And on the foreign scene, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has sacked Charles Aduboahene, the Minister of State for Finance. The presidency said on Monday, after allegations of impropriety were circulated by popular Ghanaian investigative journalist Anas Aremayor Anas. Akufo-Addo made the decision after being made aware of the allegations against Boahene in the documentary Galamsey Economy, which is due to be aired in the capital, Accra. It was made by the famous investigative journalist Anas Aremayor Anas, who has broken several corruption scandals in the past, including the Ghana Football Association and the judiciary. Some excerpts have already leaked, and one of them in particular has caused controversy. According to the documentary, Aduboahene claims nearly $200,000 from investors to give to the vice president. Boahene has not commented on the allegations made in the teasers. The president, in the meantime, has also announced an investigation. In sports news, Nigeria's queen of the track, Tobi Amusan, has been named among 5 finalists for the 2022 Women's Athlete of the Year. The World Athletics released the names of the athletes on its official website on Monday. Amusan made the shortlist following a remarkable year, which saw her set a new record of 12.12 seconds in the 100 meters hurdles at the World Athletics Championships, Oregon 2022, defend her Diamond League title, and also claim the Commonwealth and African crowns. The 24-year-old was the first Nigerian and African to achieve the feat. The winner will be announced on World Athletics social media platforms in early December as part of the World Athletics Award 2022. And now let's join Adeni Ajishafe for more on sports update.
Kwara Falcons surprise bookmakers to emerge the winners of the Nigerian Basketball Federation Final 8. The Kwara-based club emerged the winner of the competition after beating Nigerian Customs 78-53 points. To reach the final, Kwara Falcons defeated Benue Brave 83-59, while Nigerian Customs beat Rivers Hoopers 64-59 points. Apart from winning the NBBF Final 8 tournament, Kwara Falcons have also qualified to represent Nigeria in the Basketball African League (BAL). Nigeria, alongside Senegal, Angola, Tunisia, Egypt, and host Rwanda, are the countries with the automatic spot for the 2023 BAL competition at BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. Elite 16, which will serve as the qualifier, will commence on 15 to 28 November and 22nd to 27th in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, and Johannesburg, South Africa. And on football, Mamelodi Sundown Ladies of South Africa succumbed to a 4-0 defeat to AS FAR of Morocco in the 2022 CAF Women's Champions League final. The Moroccan champions put some pressure on South Africa Masandawana at Stade Prince Moulay Abdallah in Rabat and were awarded a penalty after Ipsam Draidi was fouled in the box. Fatima Tagnaut converted the spot kick to hand as for a 1-0 lead. Sundowns were reduced to 10 players after Roda Muladzi was shown a straight red card for a reckless challenge. This went from bad to worse for Masandawana after a restart, as they were reduced to 9 players when Captain Zanen Nlapo was sent off, having received a second yellow card of the game. AS FAR showed superiority over Sundown as eventual woman of the match, Draidi, scored a hat-trick to seal AS FAR's emphatic 4-0 win. Sundown lost their continental title to AS FAR, who became the second team to win the competition, which debuted in 2021. CAF Women Champions League Tournament's Golden Boot Award was awarded to AS FAR Ipsam Jared with 6 goals. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
Sports news, always racy, always exciting. Thank you, Adeni. And with that, we have come to the end of Trust TV News Hour tonight. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Eugenia Abu. Thank you for watching.